What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall market. I'm also going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward, talk about other factors involving NIO, what you should be watching for as time goes on. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon, in just about a week and a half from now. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the markets. So, as far as the market's going, NIO is looking a little bit more bullish on the 4-hour time frame. But for this to perpetuate, we need to see this thing continue to break past the 4.65 area. We also have this main support at 4.4, but I think the chart is currently favoring a bit of a bounce for tomorrow after the market saw so much red, and we are due for a bit of a rebound. Now, whether or not that happens could depend on some data, so I want to talk about some data first before I break down the details. Just know that for Monday, we just have a couple of bill auctions and nothing too serious. For Tuesday, we don't really have much. We just have, I'm sorry, not for Tuesday. For Monday, we just have a couple of earnings coming out, which is very minor. Tuesday is when we just have like Lowe's and Walmart announcing earnings alongside Xbox, which could affect NIO to some extent. But the main day is going to be Wednesday when we have NIO and Nvda announcing their earnings. NIO's earnings is going to cause a big move, and I think approaching this week, we might see NIO push approaching it. For other factors, the fear and greed index is actually at neutral. We're not actually super fearful yet in the markets because we were so elevated and the market was very, very greedy. That's why it's taking time for this to get closer to fear. We're not super fearful yet, and we'll have to see if the market gets bought back up from where we currently are. Momentum is still neutral. We're not that far down. We only dipped a little bit, guys. It's not that crazy compared to how much upside we got. And we're starting to see a little bit of an increase in the put to call ratio. We saw this basically dump over the last couple of days. Now it started to push back up as we start to see the market slow down as more puts are being bought in the market. The VIX has been dumping really hard, but now it approached the support around 14 to 15, trying to rebound off that. We'll have to see if this continues. And besides that, there's not really much else changing in our data. As far as NIO goes, I didn't see any major news, but I did want to talk about the fact that NIO is entering a lot more partnerships with different areas. I think that this is very important because it's going to help them continue to launch their business globally and continue to grow as time goes on, which is positioning them very, very nicely for the long term. On top of this, there is some news coming out about how the Envda chief is claiming that the L60 is going to be a top alternative to the Tesla Model Y in China. It's going to get a lot of credit for its affordability and its very, very nice features, such as the fact that it has a very, very durable battery, it has a very, very nice price, and it looks very, very luxurious on the inside from what I've heard. So they have very, very great products. They're getting a lot of praise so far. With Envda now adding to NIO sales, this will help it continue to grow as time goes on. Volume was at about 46 million. That's actually below average. And I just want to say that on top of that, McGuire and JP Morgan also have outperformance / overweight ratings for NIO, which is more good news. So for my personal opinion, I think there's a good chance that NIO tries to push again on Monday, and we're going to be approaching the 4.65 area. We'll see if NIO breaks through that or not, but watch that resistance very, very closely as NIO continues to push. That's the most likely prediction in my personal opinion. As far as SPY goes, okay, we dumped quite a bit on Friday, so we are due for a small rebound. I think we might rebound a bit tomorrow to about the 588 to 589 area. Then we'll have to see if SPY gets another rejection or not. The reason I'm calling out 585 to be our bounce area is because of the fact that that's previous resistance becoming support. So we'll just have to see how things end up going from there. So make sure you watch that very closely just to see if we end up getting that bounce. As far as other tickers go, just know that for ES, this is trying to push as well. We'll have to see if we hold our 200 EMA or not. We could attempt to be pushing for basically the 59.29 area, and we'll see if we get a bounce or not from here. But watch our 200 EMA as the main support, and we'll see how it goes. For other factors out there, we also have Nvda. Nvidia is going to attempt to rebound, so we're looking for essentially 144 as our resistance. I think Nvidia tries to push for 144, and we'll see what kind of reaction it gets. For Bitcoin's going to likely consolidate for a bit. We'll see if we get a little push here back up to about 92,000. But I think for the most part, we're just range bound between 92,500 and about 87,000. So look for a push for 92,000, lots of sideways price action. Tesla looks a little bit more bullish, but that depends on if we can hold above our next resistance. We're going to be seeing if 319 holds or not. If we hold above that, we're looking for a push back up to about the 330 area. If we don't hold 319, we could be dipping back down towards like 312. I presume it's going to be pushing closer to 330 before we get a big reaction. NQ, we'll have to see if we get back about 20,525. If that breaks, we're looking for essentially 20,600. If we reject, we're going to be dipping back down, so give this the time it needs. For the QQQ, we're going to try to rebound. We'll have to see if we could hold above 495. If we hold above that resistance, we're going to be looking for a rebound for 500 before we see a reaction. We could push and then reject later on, but look for a small rebound for Monday morning as the most likely possibility. For Aapl, I think the same thing is likely going to be the case. We may attempt to rebound for 226, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not. So keep that in mind. For the IWM, we're either going to bounce from where we are or dip a little bit more to fill this gap to about 226.7. So 226.7 to 228 should be our main support. We'll see if we bounce off that to get back up to 231. So watch that very carefully. For a few more, we have Amzn. May attempt to rebound for 204, and we'll see if it holds or not. So look for a little rebound over there. Meta's a little bit more bearish after we got some bearish news about their a big holder selling their shares. So we could be dipping to about the 548 area. So it might be a little bit more downside. Microsoft is looking kind of weaker with the double top. Maybe it tries to rebound for about this previous support becoming resistance at 416 to 417. If we break 416, we could be getting close to 420 before it rejects again. But overall, it's not looking that great. And then lastly, we have Google. This has like a double top. We'll have to see if we push or not. Make sure you look at 175 as our resistance and see if you reject. So look for a little bit more upside for the 175s, and we'll see if we get that rejection and give this the time it needs. Anyways, I thank you all so much for listening. Just know that the market may attempt to rebound. We may get a market-wide rebound tomorrow, if not by Tuesday. And I think we are due for a little rebound after so much downside that we saw over the last couple of days. NIO may follow the trend and try to get back up to about 4.65, and we'll see if that breaks. If we do break that, we're looking for 4.8. There's a very, very good chance that NIO is going to attempt to push higher as we approach earnings. And I think that even if NIO does push, earnings is going to be the next major factor for the share price. We're either going to see a very, very big bounce or a rug pull, depending on how earnings end up going. So just keep that in mind. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic rest of your weekend. This is just going to be a very, very quick update, and I'll keep you guys updated on what else ends up happening. So I'll see you guys tomorrow in the afternoon session just to talk about what's happening with the markets. Until then, don't forget that for the market, we also have Nvidia's earnings on Wednesday, so that's going to be the biggest factor. We don't have too many Fed speakers for the week. It's more just like we're waiting for the big earnings, and the data is going to be a little bit more quiet as well, so just keep that in mind as well. All right, so I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Please enjoy your Sunday, enjoy football, whatever life has to offer, and I'll be back tomorrow to give you guys another update. So until then, I hope the best for everyone, and don't forget that as far as NIO's sales are going, yes, NIO is a little bit down in the short term. It's very, very low right now. But I want to assure you all that I'm still very bullish for the long term as NIO continues to develop and improve their margins and as their sales continue to grow. I'm very optimistic about Onvo, and I hope that their sales continue to grow because of that. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm still a big bull for the long term. All right. So thank you for listening, and peace out.